Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos all have one thing in common. They got a ton of cash. But exactly how much cash do they have? These guys are running companies that encompass our lives on a daily basis, hiring thousands of employees and paying billions of taxes. Some people. But people tend to get misled by the net worth number and see that and assume, well, hey, these guys are sitting on piles of cash, and if only they gave just 2% of their wealth to charity, we could end world hunger. This is a really common misconception, but the thing is that most billionaires actually don't keep that much cash on hand. The average billionaire only keeps about 1% of their wealth as cash, as a way to not be affected by, rising inflation, and to keep assets that make the money instead. But people who make these comments seem to not really understand the difference between net worth and liquidity. So let me tell you. Net worth is the amount in which your assets exceed your liabilities. Let's go to the net worth calculator. So for an example, let's say that you have a house that's worth about $500,000 and about $25,000 in your checking account. Then let's say in your savings you have about $75,000 saved up. Retirement, let's just say $25,000. Remember, this is just an example. So after all that, you can see our net worth is $625,000. That's a lot, but we didn't take into account our liabilities, so let's add those. For consumer debt, let's say you have about $5,000 of that. Personal loans, let's say $3,000. Let's say you went to college as well, so you have about $20,000 left in loans. And let's say you got yourself a brand new car and you have about $10,000 in loans on that car. So now our net worth is $587,000, our assets minus our liabilities, and that's what we get. Liquid assets is basically cash or financial instruments that can easily be converted into cash, but when people are talking about it, they're usually referring to someone having cash on hand. So let's look at a couple of people and let's see how much cash they actually have versus their net worth. So the first person we're going to look at is Jeff Bezos. He's estimated to have a net worth of about $183.5 billion as of 2022. Most of Bezos' money comes from his 12.7% stake in Amazon, which, don't forget is a $1.6 trillion company. Not only that, but Bezos owns other companies as well, such as the Washington Post, which he purchased for $250 million in 2013, his space company Blue Origins, which was actually able to go into space, and also being an early investor in Uber and Airbnb. And let's not forget of all the massively successful companies that Amazon has acquired over the years, such as Whole Foods, Twitch, IMDb, Zappos, is that how you pronounce it? And Audible. With all these companies under Jeff Bezos' belt, you'd be surprised to know that he only has about $1.34 billion in cash, according to Bloomberg. Maybe I shouldn't say only, because that's a lot of money, but it's a small amount compared to his general wealth. Even though Bezos does own many luxuries, such as a $165 million mansion in Beverly Hills, Bezos has stated that he is going to liquidate about $1 billion a year to invest in Blue Origins, so most of his money is him going to spend it and invest in it, not really hoard it. And Bezos is constantly selling his Amazon stock. In May 2021, all in 1 week, Bezos sold about $6.7 billion in Amazon stock, and in 2020 alone, he sold $9 billion. For example, when it comes to liquidating stocks, when Bezos divorced from his wife Mackenzie Scott, reports said that her net worth was about $38 billion that Jeff Bezos had to pay. But that's not actually true. He didn't give her $38 billion. She was awarded about a 4% stake in Amazon, which equaled to about $38 billion at the time. This is what most people don't understand when it comes to how much money these billionaires actually have. Most of it is liquidated through stock, not actually having the cash on hand. Now, let's move on to Bill Gates. Gates has a net worth of $132.2 billion. Now that's a lot of money, but would it surprise you to know that when Gates stepped down on the board of Microsoft...
We do have big news on Microsoft today, announcing that co-founder Bill Gates is going to be stepping down from the company's board of directors.
He sold most of his stock holdings, and he only owns about a 1% stake in Amazon right now, the company he founded, which is only about $7 billion. So if that's the case, then where are all his other billions coming from? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation alone have about $50 billion in assets, which is counted towards their net worth, with the Gates family being known as the most philanthropic family in America. Not only that, but Gates has other assets, such as an ownership of about 47% of the Four Seasons hotel chain, and has about $11 billion invested in Berkshire Hathaway. And for those who don't know, he is the largest owner of US farmland, with over 242,000 acres of land, belonging all to Bill himself. For those who need a reference of about how big that is, that's about the size of New York City. That's how much land Bill owns. As to how much cash Gates has, since he sold most of his stocks at an aggressive amount immediately, he only owns about 1% of Microsoft currently. Bloomberg estimates that he has about $56 billion in cash. Why does he have so much cash? Most likely to continue his philanthropic work in third world countries, and maybe invest in anything in the future. Now for the man that everyone's been waiting for, King Elon. As of 2022, Musk has about $239.6 billion as his net worth, and is currently the world's richest man on Forbes' list. As we all know, most of his net worth is comprised of his two companies, Tesla and SpaceX. For Tesla, Musk owns about a 17% stake of the company, and Tesla's worth about $1.2 trillion. And for SpaceX, SpaceX is worth about $100 billion, and Musk owns about half of that company. These companies make up a bulk of his net worth. Now I understand that Musk has other projects that he's working on, but these projects are really small compared to Tesla and SpaceX. For example, the Boring Tunnel Company, which is a company that Musk started to kind of fix traffic, well, that company's only worth about $920 million. And also his other company, Solar City, which is trying to promote solar panels and fight climate change, well, that company was bought for $2.6 billion. And his other company, Neuralink, which has total investments of $300 million, is pretty small, so we're not going to focus on these three companies, we're going to focus on Tesla and SpaceX for now. Anyway, the money Musk does make isn't used for luxurious reasons, as most people assume billionaires do live. It is true that in Musk's early years he was somewhat extravagant.
Purchasing this car as behavior characteristic of a materialistic brat. That's the engine.
And are you?
No, I'm not. It comes with its own set of luggage, actually.
But in 2020, he sold his $17 million mansion in Bel Air and most of his expensive property and moved into a $50,000 home, so the money that Musk did make could immediately be reinvested in his companies, which is what most billionaires do. Musk doesn't take a salary or cash bonus. Instead, he's paid by stock awards and Tesla's share price. There's a really great article from Forbes called Why Elon Musk is Cash Poor for a Billionaire, basically detailing the actual amount of liquidity Musk does have. Forbes estimates that about 99% of Musk's wealth is held in shares, meaning that the actual amount of cash he has is relatively low. If we go by the Forbes amount and say that 1% of Musk's wealth is actually liquidity, then Musk has about $2.3 billion in cash. This number obviously fluctuates due to Musk selling more stocks, or not, but this gives us a rough idea. Just recently, Musk sold $1 billion in shares, so yeah, he's frequently selling his stocks. Yes, these three individuals do have a substantial amount of money, but let's not get that confused with the actual amount of cash they have readily available and their net worth. So this video was made just to clear up the misconceptions between those two. But anyways, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe because it really helps out the channel, and leave a like if you can. Also, if you want to leave a comment, I'll totally respond below. Thank you guys for watching the video.